They made an effort to keep her on the bench. They made an effort to keep the old guard safe. However, as soon as she touched the floor, the whole system malfunctioned.
I thought Caitlin's playmaking ability, really kind of got us going, got into a nice rhythm in that second quarter and scored.
That wasn't complimentary. That was giving up. She is also among the world's most dynamic playmakers. We recently discussed how she used all of her skills on the most skilled team she has ever played on. Thus, picture yourself as a dynamic playmaker. Suddenly, you're playing with all these other exciting finishers and playmakers. According to a number of sources, Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark have already made their move. They decided to bring Kara Lawson to the Indiana Fever and fire Stephanie White. The coup has already begun, and the elderly guard is scared. However, no one has yet to connect with this. Let's return to that same moment. The power structure of the WNBA fell apart. It wasn't just a poor lineup choice. This was the USA basketball facility, operating the same worn-out, pay-your-dues experiment that some experienced groups and Stephanie White are still attempting to play for the Indiana Fever in 2026. The most electrifying attacking motor in the game was benched. Sport, and the offense was eliminated. After that, Clark checked in and instantly made All-Stars a wide-open lines of layup. However, this event merits more than a cursory perusal, so let's take our time. Consider what USA Basketball truly stands for. This is the world's most elite group of basketball players. Olympic gold medalists, multiple champions, and future Hall of Famers. These athletes are not typical, being raised by a skilled passer. These are elite athletes, the best off the best, and still without Caitlin Clark on the floor. The attack came to a halt. It's not a coincidence. Regarding how Clark alters basketball, that is a structural reality. She plays it at every level. She does more than simply add points. Defenses are bent by her. She makes people rotate. She creates the geometry of the moment she reaches half court, the floor is changed. Her 35-foot range must be taken into consideration by defenders. Every teammate on the court has more driving lanes because to that one fact. Those roads close the once she disappears. The defense becomes more relaxed. The assistant side falls apart. The offense's rhythm becomes muddy. USA Basketball discovered that. In front of a worldwide audience in real time. Way for gathering facts. That's business jargon for, I screwed. She fixed it by giving Clark the keys, and now I have to fix it without acknowledging that I made a mistake. The same keys that reports claim Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark currently desire in the WNBA. However, this is the aspect of fact-finding mode that no one is discussing. The public statement made by Lawson is remarkable in and of itself. Particularly at the international level, coaches don't acknowledge ambiguity. Level. Not when the cameras are rolling, in particular. Projecting authority is the foundation of a whole coaching culture, and control regardless of the actual events taking place on the court. That code was broken by Lawson. In essence, she informed everyone. I was mistaken, I was corrected by the data, I made adjustments. That isn't a sign of weakness. In elite sports leadership, that is the most uncommon trait. The coach herself is coachable. Caitlin Clark took notice. You can be certain of it, given that Clark has devoted her whole career in settings where the team's potential was subordinated to the ego of the coaching staff. She has manipulated systems. That didn't, despite knowing in private that decisions were limiting the offense. She grinned during press conferences. Earned more than her pay grade. She became aware of Lawson's admission of error and quick course correction. That mattered. You vote for a coach like that. Additionally, the difference is now unachievable in Indiana. Disregard. The Fever are talented. They have Clark, who is already the WNBA's most significant player. They have Cunningham, who alters the dynamics of the locker room with his outspoken presence and physical edge. They possess potential. What they lack, according to several people close to the club, is a coaching staff that has completely realized the potential of this roster. The USA basketball experiment was more than just a basketball moment. It served as a proof of concept. Every player watched a live demonstration. Agent, executive, and coach in the league that Caitlin Clark's complete offensive freedom plus. WNBA has never witnessed this. Additionally, the trial version of that equation is currently being performed by the Fever's current coaching staff. Sophie Cunningham has never held back when discussing her values. Winners are respected by her. She is respectful of shooters. She admires floor generals because they improve everyone. However, let's discuss Sophie Cunningham's true identity. Because this article has undersold her. When Cunningham first entered this league, no one gave him anything at all. She battled for several minutes. She battled for her opportunity. She became known as one of the hardest. The majority of the WNBA's physical perimeter players, the type of player who appears in the fourth quarter when, in fact, the game is at stake. She is not a brand, she's a baller. And that is significant since it implies people pay attention when Sophie Cunningham speaks at a player meeting. Not due to supporters or following. Due to respect that has been earned. Furthermore, Sophie Cunningham has expressed her belief in Caitlin Clark. As a cornerstone of the club, not just a teammate. If you want to, you can base your whole identity as a player on. Caitlin Clark has made the Indiana Fever a team to watch in order to win a championship in this era. However, coaching is still preventing her from reaching her full potential the way Kara did. Eventually, Lawson did. Tonight, she did a great job switching between playmaking and scoring, and she appeared to be at ease. Out there, I was therefore pleased. When your existing head coach still appears reluctant to build the complete offense in the same manner around you, let's discuss what it really means to switch between scoring and playmaking at Clark's level. Because mainstream platforms never have a discourse about basketball IQ. The majority of top scorers are able to score. The majority of exceptional passers are able to pass. Few basketball players, regardless of skill, have ever been able to weaponize the danger of both. Concurrently, Clark doesn't simply perform one and then the other. She puts the defense in a position where they are unable to commit to, preventing one without allowing the other to enter. The corner kicks open when she drives because the wing defender has already been forced out of position by her shooting gravity. The lane collapses as she approaches because the big is afraid to let go of an open drive. The recipient is open when she swings it because everyone in the building was on Clark. This isn't typical. This is a generational issue. You might see this type of player once or twice. In 10 years across the course of women's basketball history and one game, Kara Lawson witnessed it. Just one game. According to several league sources, Clark and Cunningham, two of the most significant young. It has been made evident in player meetings by voices in the league. The coach who figured it out the quickest is the one they want. Kara Lawson is what they desire. The fact that this union unites two universes is what makes it so potent. Clark is a representative of the national TV audience, the new WNBA. The cultural moment that has made women's basketball unavoidable is the sold-out venues. The sports surge is personified by her. Cunningham is a symbol of the grit and brutality of the former WNBA. The lunch pail professionalism of the players who established this league prior to the arrival of cameras. She serves as a link to veterans. Who could oppose the Clark revolution otherwise? Collectively, they have more than simply a viewpoint on coaching. They're in a coalition. Additionally, alliances in professional national sports advance more quickly than front offices anticipate. Let's be truthful about Indiana's current state of affairs. The offense is not frightening, but it is good. There is irregularity in the beat. While Clark spends too much time sitting in half-court sets, the chemistry experiments continue to take place in actual games. Let's be clear before anyone remarks that this is insulting to Stephanie White. Character is not the issue here. It has nothing to do with effort. Respected basketball expert Stephanie White has triumphed at several game stages. This has to do with timing. And this concerns if the coaching philosophy is appropriate. For the particular talent currently occupying that locker room, this is the ideal philosophy. From what we're seeing, the answer is no. This is the main issue. The offensive scheme of Stephanie White was constructed for a particular period of the fever. It was created for a team that need development and structure. It was constructed to instill discipline and culture in a company that had been aimlessly identity for many years, and it was effective in that regard. The fever subsided. The culture became stable. The show began moving toward a proper course. However, the roster has now outgrown the system. Caitlin Clark does not participate in sports. You grow. You can use her as a player. There is a huge difference. Contrast that with what we observed with Lawson. Lawson lauded that lineup. Elite playmaking, shooting, pace, and space. This is precisely the contemporary image that Cunningham and Clark desire. There are 5 players on the floor. They are all capable of shooting. They are all able to move. Clark is the engine. Not a puzzle piece, but the person who chooses which puzzle to play. Pace and space basketball is what this is. At its most advanced stage. The NBA discovered this 10 years ago, and the WNBA is just now starting to completely. Hugged out a floor general who can shoot from a distance, breach defenses, and then redistribute to shooters is what you need. Who penalize each rotation. Clark is capable of doing that at a very high level. Lawson's lineup is capable of it. The right system would allow the Fever to run this every single night. Stephanie White continues to run. That seems to be 2 years behind Clark's abilities. The roster's veterans are at ease. However, the youthful stars who really make a difference are not. And the adversary of a championship is comfort. Basketball, in the history of sports, every dynasty came to a point where the championship choice and the comfortable decision diverged. Companies that opted for comfort guidance continued to be comfortable. The groups that selected the won the championship path. Right now, Indiana is at that fork. The vote took place for this reason. Since Cunningham and Clark didn't simply desire a different coach. They desired a point of decision. They desired that the front desk be forced to make a decision, either in public or individually, between the benefits of a coaching shift that could change this and the security of the current situation. The whole ceiling of the franchise. There will be a change in the starting lineup. There will be a change in the rotations. Does that sound familiar? Players in Indiana are currently fighting for just that. Make a change at the top. However, since this is the section of the narrative that is sanitized, let's discuss locker room interactions.